Hi guys, it's time for Lit Term number 5, and this week we're talking about characterization. It's the process by which a writer reveals the personality of a character, and there's a couple of ways they do this. So first off, characters are considered round or flat. Round characters are characters that are complex and well developed. We know a lot of things about their personality. Flat characters are considered two-dimensional, and they may or may not be used to develop the plot. Some people confuse these with like important characters and unimportant characters, but that's not necessarily the case, because sometimes we have a flat character that we only know a few things about, but he's really important to the plot. Right? So, for example, a round character would be like Nemo in the movie Finding Nemo, because he goes through a lot of, and we know a lot about him because of that. A flat character might be Bruce the shark, because all we know is that he's hungry and he used to have a problem with eating fish. So that doesn't mean that Bruce wasn't important, it just means that we don't know as much about him. Go ahead and in your notes, write down an example that you can think of a round character and a flat character. Then we have dynamic and static characters, and people who are into music, this should be easy for you to learn. Dynamic characters are going to go through changes throughout the course of the story. That's why music getting loud or music getting soft is called dynamics. Static characters are going to stay the same. They don't go through changes hardly at all. We might see, them change from one room to another, but in terms of personality, they're not going to change at all. Again, go ahead and put down some examples of a dynamic character and a static character you can think of in your notes. And finally, we have direct and indirect characterization. And these are the two, I think, most important ways that an author will tell us about his or her character. In direct characterization, the author is going to tell the audience what the personality of the character is. They might describe it in the description. They might have, like in a movie, where somebody else will tell you about that character. But we don't get to see it for ourselves necessarily until somebody's told us about it. In indirect characterization, they're going to show things that are going to reveal the character slowly. And I'm going to borrow a page here straight from the National Council of Teachers of English, the group that I'm a part of, from the Read, Write, Think website, because I think it has a really good mnemonic here to show you about indirect characterization. If you look here, they have this mnemonic, steal. Indirect characterization is told through these 5 methods: speech, thought, effect on others toward the character, actions, and looks. So, and then it breaks it down over here in this other part of the chart into questions to ask about that. So those are the 5 types of indirect characterization, and you can see that a lot in visual media, in movies and stuff. We will learn about a character not because they look at the screen and tell us about themselves, which is kind of Ferris Bueller's way of directly characterizing himself, but most movies are through indirect characterization and not breaking that 4th wall. So we have to learn about them through the decisions they make, the way they dress, the way they interact with other people. So that's the difference between direct and indirect. So again, go ahead and write down an example of a character you can think of that was directly characterized, perhaps in a movie, and then one that we had to learn about through the things that they have listed here: speech, thoughts, effect, actions, and looks. And that's it for characterization this week. We're going to talk about the characters you chose in class. And as we continue reading throughout this semester, we'll keep talking about this kind of stuff. So it's really important you get this down. Have a good week.